Good morning, traders, and welcome to the weekly market review. I'm your host, Paul. Going to use wave analysis to look at the S&P, Nasdaq, some select stocks, and Bitcoin. So let's get started. And we're going to start with the upcoming economic calendar. So the next 2 weeks will be extremely volatile now. We have a lot of data coming out this week. Coming up, we have big tech earnings coming out. And then, of course, we got the election. So at least the next 2 weeks, could spill into 3 or 4 weeks. But the next 2 weeks, I think, are going to be really crazy. So starting on Tuesday, we have the JOLTS job openings. Obviously, that's going to be monitored really closely. GDP coming out. Expected to stay the same, 3%. Same as last quarter. This is the first reading of GDP for this quarter. And then Thursday, you got core PCE, along with the jobless claims, PCE price index, and then Friday, non-farm payroll. So like just all big data. Also ISM manufacturing. I think the non-farm payroll will be obviously really big. Expecting a substantial drop from 254 down to 140. I think that would be okay with the market, because I think if they get a hot reading, I think that might make the Fed want to pause on doing any interest rate cuts. I think a 140 number would be just fine with them, and so the market, I think, will be liking that. So got all of this, and then starting on Tuesday, we have like I said, all the big tech earnings are this week, except for Nvidia. So we got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, and I think Meta too. So that's all going to be just whipsawing the indexes around, not to mention the individual stocks. So very volatile week coming up, and this will be the first of at least 2 weeks. All right, let's get on to the chart. And this is the S&P futures contract, the continuous contract. It looks to me, this is the 4-hour chart, it came down into this little 58, 5,700 range, and then got that big bounce up, but then a strong sell-off. So it's hard to tell. To me, this looks like 5 waves down, and then you just have a 3-wave move up. So I would be expecting at least one more drop into this zone, and then when they break the previous low, assuming they break it, 58.01, does it stay in this range? Because if not, I'd be starting to wonder what the pattern is, because on the S&P, I'm expecting a diagonal to be playing out. And that was 1, and that was 2. The third wave, though, is up here at 6,001. So it'd be nice if it could like just hold in this range and then go up to finish that third wave before you pull back for 4 and then go up for 5. So that's the pattern that I'm looking for to play out. But in order for that to happen, this area needs to hold. So, because I don't think that this was the third wave, this 59.27. It could be. So if this drops, then I guess I'd have to be looking at that. Just be nicer if they could get into that 6,000 range for the third wave. So let's see. So it probably will happen on Sunday night into Monday, that this, if they drop one more time, that's when it would happen. And then see if they start reversing. So a break of 57.46. I'm gonna have to relook at this. and see what other patterns might be in play. Like I said, it could be that it's just a short third wave, and this is the start of the fourth wave. So let's see. But yeah, I'd like them to just break 58 and then reverse it. Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, like I've been saying, the third wave for them is way up here at 21,243. So they have a long way to go. There is one pattern that I'm looking at now on the Nasdaq that it kind of makes some sense to me, that this was 1, 2, that was 3. Come on. And then we had this just 3-wave move, ABC, getting people all freaked out, and then it reversed. Now, so far, I gotta zoom in here. So far, we just have this 3-wave move, 1, 2, and 3, and they just broke that previous high of 2680. So would they break it by just a few ticks? 707, so what, 27 points? And then they started selling off. It looks to me like they could be making a diagonal. Now, if that's the case, then that'll change some things. So if this area, so 1, 2, and they came, it's a perfect zone for the third wave. And now they're right in the perfect zone for the fourth wave. So if this area holds and then it goes back up and breaks 707 for 5 waves, then obviously then the Nasdaq will be looking good. But if that area doesn't hold, especially this bottom area, the bottom of the green box, 20,432, if that really breaks, and especially obviously if they break that level, that's the invalidation point. Then I think this pattern is in play, that they made a big leading diagonal, so you're still good for the Nasdaq to continue going higher. But I think then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they completed 5 on Friday, and now there'll be a much bigger correction before it will resume up, because that'll be a leading diagonal. So that is a possibility. So the key levels to watch: 1, like I said, the bottom of that green box, 2432, like, so it's basically Sunday and into Monday. If this starts really pushing down again, then I think eventually then this 2261, that is the real line in the sand. If that breaks, then that signifies that, let me make sure I got this right. Yeah, 2261.75. If that breaks, then this was a diagonal, and it ended at 2707. So I'm going to actually remove that line. We don't need that anymore. So basically, one of these two will break next week, either 707 again or 261. And if that breaks, then you'll have a leading diagonal here. And then I would be expecting a correction and then more. But if this comes down and breaks that, then there's going to be a bigger correction underway, which tells me then it must be maybe I don't know, there's so much data coming out. I would think maybe then like the big tech earnings aren't as good as everyone might be expecting, or it could be one of the data points just comes in much weaker. Maybe the jobs number is, I don't know, too hot, too cold, something that will just make the market want to sell off. So yeah, those are the two key levels. One of those will break next week, and that will give an indication of the direction. Because I think if this 2707 breaks, eventually, not in a straight line, but then they'll be coming up eventually to break that 21, to get into that 21,000 range and give us the finish the third wave up there. All right, so let's move on to some stocks. AMD, AMD looking good. So when I zoom out, I think this is 1, 2, 3, and just like everything else, this looks like it's in a perfect place for the 4. Let me get rid of that so we can see this. It's in a perfect place for the 4, and it kind of bounced already from the bottom down here. So, and it looks like then inside of that, they're making like a little leading diagonal. We've got 3 waves up so far. So 1, 2, just came above the 3rd wave zone. They're right now in the 4th wave. So if it can go back up and get up to like 160, that'll complete 5-wave move, and then correction, and then more up. So AMD, I think as long as it can hold this 154.85, I think it looks really good. So, like basically buying here would not be a bad idea, because I would put a stop like right under 154.85. I think any break below that, and then this could have been just a 3-wave correction, and then it's going to be coming underneath 150. So yeah, playing for, assuming that this area holds here, you're only going to be playing for about maybe 3%. So if that's worth it, if not, the best play then would be just to let 5 waves complete and then wait for that bigger correction, and then buy to eventually go break 174. All right, what else? Nvidia. Yeah, so Nvidia, it's not done yet. I don't think 144.42 is going to be the high. So they just been barely scraping along the top here, but this doesn't look complete, because it's just 1, 2, and 3. But even this wave up here just looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this 5th wave I don't think is in yet either. So I think it's got a little bit more. Eventually they're going to give a correction. So if 144.42 is the high, I would expect it a correction down to 123.90 to 131 before then they would still go back up, because this pattern's not complete. So Nvidia's got more. I just, if you're not in, you just can't buy. You got to wait for a correction to happen at some point. And right now this would be the zone, but I think they actually have like a little bit more up to go to complete this wave before you get a correction, and then still one more up. So yeah, Nvidia is not done, but you already got to be in it or wait for a correction. All right, Tesla. This one's interesting. So I think what they did here, we've had this ABC for a while, and I think this was an A, B, C, and now obviously after their earnings, they killed it, and now it just took off. But when we zoom out, go to a daily, it's just been very range bound. And it looks to me, we've had this ABC, and then we had this really big ABC. I think this is just going to turn out, all of this over here is going to, this ABC, I think that's going to be an A, and this is going to be a B, and then obviously this is very impulsive. This is going to be a C. So it'll break 271. I mean, there are only 80 cents away. But I would expect them to break that, and then at any moment, one of two things will happen. Either because if they're going up in a diagonal, like I've been saying. And so then that first ABC was 1, this ABC is 2, and then this will be an ABC somewhere up here from 271, I don't know, maybe 300, low 300s. And that'll be just a 3-wave move. And then you'll get a correction. And then we'll have to really, really surge for the third wave. Because then that'll be 1, that'll be 2, and then all of this will be 3, and you'll get a 4, and then 5, and then you'll be breaking 414. So that's the bullish case, that this is just the start of the third wave. And then the other scenario is that you had this big ABC, like all in the 2022, and then you had that ABC, and now you're actually coming down. So you have this ABC, that's probably 1, and then this is going to be ABC for 2, and then you'll be moseying on down. So the key level to watch on Tesla is this. Because once that breaks, 299.29, if that breaks on this move up, then that really gives a strong indication that Tesla's going up, and it's going up in that diagonal. Because then this is 1, and that'll be 2, and then this will be just, like I said, just the beginning of the third wave. You have a, you'll get a B, and then you're going to get still one more push up, and that'll complete the third wave. So key level for Tesla is 299.29, because if this wave just falls short and then starts selling off, then that 138 could be a target. So we'll have to see. We still got several things that can play out here, but yeah, 299.29 is a key level to watch for Tesla bulls and bears. Okay, let's move on to ZScaler. I think ZScaler is looking really good. Now there is the possibility, because of this ABC, and right now you do have just 3 waves up, but that was such a strong move up that I feel like the bottom, or the near term low of 153, I think that's in. And so if Zscaler is going to be going up, it's going to be going up in a diagonal, because that was a 3-wave move up to 203. And so this is a pretty strong sell-off, and it did come up in a little 3-wave move up. I think they'll probably chop around a little bit more, and then probably one more fall into this 172, 178, and that's where I'd be looking for a buy setup if you're not in, because I think Zscaler has a lot more to go, obviously, to go up and break 259, and be doing it like I said, in a diagonal. Now, if they do break 172 in a strong fashion, then I think the possibility does exist that this ABC was A, that was like a B, and then they'll be coming down aggressively in a C wave to break 153. And then somewhere under here, then that I think would be a really great buy for it to go back up. So let's see next week. I think this will be kind of just choppy, like I said, up in this range. And then one more drop, and then let's see if this 172 can hold and then start to give a bounce, because then I think Zscaler could be on its way up to eventually break 259. All right, moving on. Bitcoin. All right, so let's drill in here. Bitcoin, like I said last week, it's got its third wave target, and then it's just been doing this little choppiness here. And as it stands right now, you've got a 3-wave move down, and then you've got this three-wave move up. And then to me, I can count 5 waves. So in a diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so all in all, that's a bigger three-wave pattern. And it could be that it's just an A, B, oops, A, B, that's up here, come on, there, C, and now this thing's gonna go up. So it's possible then, like I said last week, the fourth wave, if it's gonna come down, it should be hitting this 63 at least. I don't think this would be it for the fourth wave. I think then it might be like this is just the A wave, and this is just going to be a small little B, and then they'll go up one more time, break 69,498, and then that might be the third wave, because this just isn't big enough for the fourth wave, unless they're making like just a extremely contracting diagonal. And so then you would have 1, 2, 3, come on, and then 4, and then go up in 3 ways for 5. Like that would be just very, I don't know, that just doesn't, yeah, I don't like it. Let me just draw this line really quick. Nah, it doesn't look right. So I'd still want to be seeing, if the third wave is in, it still should be coming down to 63 and then going. So, I mean, the other possibility is like this is just the first part of the fourth wave. So 1, 2, 3. And then they're going to give like a 1, 2, 3 and probably stay inside of this 67,000 range. And then start to work down. Like this could have been just like the first part of the correction, second part, and then they'll push it down. Because yeah, so I gotta wait and see. One of these two needs to break 67,188 and 65,500. I think if they break that again, then this is still just all the fourth wave. And it should be working its way down to 63. If they break this 150, 67, 188, it should stay under 67,539. If it starts to really get strong up here, and if it does break 69,498, I still think that this is just going to be part of the third wave. Like that wasn't all for the third. That was like the A, the B, and then they'll go up one more time, and then give that correction for 4. So if you're not in, I think I'd only wait for the fourth wave, because this isn't the fourth wave. So either this has to keep working its way down, or just let it finish this third and give you the fourth. All right, that's what I see on the markets. Hope it helps. Thanks. Be ready for a lot of volatility coming now. Good luck to you guys. See you in the next video.